It's an inevitability that as time goes on, things will get older and their age will begin to show. Nothing is immune to this, but some things will age far better than others, and even after years or even decades, they won't lose their staying power. In the world of video games, some of the most important years in gaming were between 1996 to 2000, as we saw the third dimension come to the forefront. Mario 64 and The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time were landmark titles that shaped the platform and action adventure games and, well, platforming games respectively. But while those games set out to be sizable adventures that would take players a while to see credits, there was another big name on the Nintendo 64 that came out in 1997, and that was Star Fox. Star Fox 64 was not a long game. You could beat the whole thing in about 90 minutes. Kind of. There were tons of different planets to go through and more than 20 possible routes to get to the end, which that's where the game truly shined, in its replayability, with different ways to get different outcomes and the allure of those gold medals. Star Fox 64 is a game you could beat very quickly, but completing it would be a much larger undertaking. This game is not the one I'll be talking about for this video. See, it was already memed a fair bit that the series is really just Star Fox 64 again, but with the reveal of the remake being, well, Star Fox 64 yet again, it's gotten downright silly, since Star Fox 64 was a retelling of the original Star Fox on Super Nintendo, then 64 got a remake on 3DS, then we had Star Fox Zero, which was just the events of Star Fox 64 again, but more railroaded and with odd controls, and now we're getting another remake of Star Fox 64. However, while it's funny to laugh at how ridiculous the whole situation is, that doesn't detract from the fact that it's still a very good game, and with yet another remake on the horizon, I figured what better time than now to look back at the first remake of Star Fox 64, the one that I grew up with, the one on the 3DS. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time we talk about Star Fox 64 3D.
Open the wings! Check your G diffuser system. Falco here. I'm fine.
This is Pep. All systems go.
Slippy here. I'm okay.
I see him up ahead. Let's rock and roll!
Our first level in the game begins on Corneria, 4th planet in the Lilat system, and the one most closely resembling Earth as a way to give players a more grounded start before things start to get increasingly more trippy and weird later on in the game. And overall, this level does a solid job as a tutorial, getting you used to the controls while also introducing you to the mechanic of your liabilities, I mean teammates needing assistance to get enemies off of their tail when they're getting chased down. Overall, the level does a great job teaching you what you need to learn, giving you plenty of upgrades and healing, while teaching you the key feature that killing multiple enemies at the same time yields higher points, and getting 100 points will get you an extra life at the end of the level. If you're playing the original game or on classic mode, you really want those lives because running out means a game over, which means restarting the game from, well, the very beginning. However, in the remake, the game just adds a counter to your continues used, so no real skin off your back there. Though I'm going to say this right now, I actually didn't die a single time in this playthrough, which, yeah, I'm not that good at games most of the time, so I don't know how I managed that one. Unfortunately, it seems I was too slow to act and Falco got seriously damaged in this mission, so he had to bail out. Oh well, he was kind of a jackass anyways. Now it's time to do a barrel roll. But shortly after that's all said and done, we have our first boss fight of the game.
All range mode.
So this is Star Fox. I'm going to crush you.
This is Granga. He acts as the tutorial boss of the game, and I wish I had more to say about him than I do. He has destructible limbs, which is cool, as it means that you can reduce the attacks he's able to throw out, but his back is where he takes all the damage from, and hyper lasers are very powerful in this game to the point that you can easily kill this boss in 10 seconds. In fact, I hold back significantly in this very fight here because even taking out its legs, he becomes basically helpless and unable to move. They really don't want you losing this boss fight.
My Emperor! I've failed you!
Impressive, Star Fox. Now watch out for enemies in the asteroid field.
I won't let you down, sir.
On to the next level, the Asteroid Belt. There's a lot to watch out for because hitting giant rocks isn't good for survivability, as you can probably guess, but there's a little mini game where you can fly through meteor rings to get yourself a laser upgrade, which is pretty nifty. Shortly after, we're given a series of larger asteroids to dodge as they crash into one another, and we learn about using the brake and boost at the right times to not get smashed, and also get some additional goodies like bombs and power-ups in the process. This level isn't hard per se, but it is a lot more involved than Corneria, as there's some more precision flying that's demanded and a few more relentless enemies you have to watch out for. We're then given a chance to learn about charge shots, being able to easily kill multiple enemies at once, which was briefly touched upon in the previous level, but here it is brought front and center, and this allows you to do big damage and get extra points before getting a giant straightaway of meteors that ultimately lead to the boss fight itself.
I cannot allow you to go any further.
Enemy shield analyzed.
Granga was kind of boring, but the Meteor Crusher is a lot more entertaining as a boss fight. For this boss, we need to destroy his shield before destroying supposedly a key part of the ship, and this battle, while it's still pretty easy, does require more precision from the player, as you have to actually aim carefully, albeit there it is marked with a designated glowy spot. The boss also has better music and looks cooler. Combine that with the pilot being, well, a more memorable bad guy due to his funny voice, and you have yourself a pretty beloved boss fight that, yeah, I like this fight a lot too, I'm not gonna lie.
I'm no match for you. I admit defeat. If this does not work!
That's actually kind of remote text because if Falco's in the team at the time, he's actually going to call out Meteo's bullshit before calling him a racial slur. Anyways, Phase 2 is a bit harder with the ring lasers and missiles, but he's also vulnerable at all times, so it's easier to damage him. Plus, one of my favorite changes in the 3DS remake is there's now multiple renditions of Boss Battle 2, and anytime a boss has a second phase, we get a new version of the theme. It's a fun boss.
I can't believe I lost to this scum!
Sorry to jet, but I'm in a hurry.
Recover our base from the enemy army.
Roger, General.
As it shows there, the planet's name is Fichina, not Fortuna. Fortuna is a different planet in the series. However, because Star Fox 64 is the most popular game in the series, well, that's the reason why that mistranslation has been so widespread. Anyways, this is the first level that is entirely going to be in all-range mode, which means these levels are more about dogfighting until a thing happens, and your team members actually get to be useful, kind of. But let's be honest, we don't care about random dogfighting. We all know what really happens here.
Why are ships coming out of the base?
A bomb has been planted at the base.
Jeez! Can anyone take care of it?
Can't let you do that, Star Fox. Andros has ordered us to take you down.
Peppy! Long time no see. Andross's enemy is my enemy. Just what I need to see. Star Wolf.
Star Fox, our evil rival team that's not very consistent with its members, as the only constants are Wolf and Leon. Otherwise, it's all over the place. However, in this game, we also have to contend with Andross's nephew Andrew, also known as Oikini, also known as the Star Fox equivalent of Shock T, because his death gets retconned and changed every damn game, holy shit, and the rat bastard Pigma Dengar, who's actually a pig. We want to kill all of them, but each Star Fox member has a designated rival, I guess you could say, that Star Wolf will prioritize, and you can figure out which one is which based off of their voice lines. Wolf will always target Fox, so he'll be on your ass throughout most of the fight. Leon targets Falco. Pigma targets Peppy because they have history, and Andrew targets Slippy because he sucks at piloting and thinks the literal child would be easy pickings. Andrew also seems to be considerably worse of a pilot than the other three. Guess even the Andross army has a nepotism problem, I'm not sure. Maybe I'm just fooling myself into thinking it, but he always seems to go down much easier than the others do. Either way, the level will end one of two ways, either with you taking too long to bring Star Wolf down and the base blowing up, or you shoot them all down and take care of the bomb. I chose not to sandbag here and just take them out because, I can.
Uncle Andross! I'll take care of the bomb now.
If this was Star Fox Assault, we'd have a time segment where we had to rush our ass down there on foot to turn the bomb off some way, shape, or form. If it sounds like I'm dissing Star Fox Assault, I'm not. That's actually my favorite Star Fox game.
Reports indicate that Andross is working on some secret weapon.
I'll check it out.
Sector X is our next space level of the game, and to be fair, it is a fair bit different from the Asteroid Belt counterpart because this place is man-made. Or was, I guess I should say. By the time we get here, the place has been more than adequately wrecked, and nothing really seems to be right. Though there are lots of swarms of enemies, so if you use mines or bombs, you can rack up a big score pretty quickly.
What the heck is that?
Whatever this place is, we're not welcome here, that's for sure, and something else is watching us. Actually, I'd like to have a moment to praise the amazing music for this place because of how ominous it sounds. Have a listen. But as we continue through the level, we ignore the totally not suspicious gate, so we can finally come across our obligatory boss fight at the end of the level.
What the heck? Fox, look behind you! So this is the secret weapon.
Destroyed. Enemy shield analyzed. I will terminate all enemies.
Spot Spyborg is kind of a weird one. He only takes damage in the eyes, which are also a giant energy cannon that can fire out dangerous projectiles at us. That's all fine and good, but we also have to deal with the massive mechanical arms that understandably do quite a bit of damage, and you don't want to get hit by them. The fight isn't super difficult per se, but it is a big step up in the challenge level over Granga and Meteor Crusher, and unlike Star Wolf, you actually had to beat this boss to continue the game. So I'd say it's a pretty good escalation in difficulty.
Yippee! You did it!
Huh? What?
The view is clear. Destroy.
Destroy what? He's crazy.
Let me handle this!
Slippy, get back here!
Fox!
Slippy!
Also, surprise, we have ourselves another two-phase boss fight. Thankfully, this one is mostly a burn phase, but I guess our plans are getting derailed a bit because Slippy kinda got whacked, so we gotta save him, but before we can do that, we need to just kill this guy. Thankfully, his health is so low in the second phase that it shouldn't take long, and you can actually kill him before he takes Slippy out.
What are you doing? It's too dangerous there.
I can't leave Slippy hanging.
We have our froggy friend to rescue, and this is our first mission that utilizes a vehicle other than the R-Wing. This is the Landmaster. It's a powerful but not as mobile vehicle that is a tank and not, well, a fighter jet. But mercifully, it's actually quite fun to control all in all once you get used to it, and generally, people tend to like the Landmaster in this game. That being said, Titania seems to be a bit of a love it or hate it sort of level. The music is amazing, and the planet looks absolutely devastated while having a fair number of unique enemies, but at the same time this level is absolutely littered with hazards on the ground that can get annoying, and there's a lot of points you require to thread a needle with a tank, which, I don't know if you know this or not, that doesn't always work out the best. But at the same time, this is one of the game's shortest levels, lasting only about 3.5 minutes until you reach the boss fight at the end. There's not a whole lot to it.
Let me get a piece of that action, Fox.
Falco, I don't think he's into you like that. Anyways, this boss is interesting because as far as I know, this thing is just a monster that lives on the planet, and we're only fighting it because we have to free Slippy. Pretty much every other boss in this game is either someone in Andross's army or some form of bioweapon, but unless I'm mistaken, Goros is just a native monster on Titania, which, given Star Fox Command, is filled to the brim with those nasty monsters. As for the fight itself, it's not too complicated. It's mostly just a matter of first free Slippy, then you have to destroy his limbs to expose his heart, where you can proceed to attack his heart and do the real damage to him. A single bomb is more than enough to take out 70% of his HP if you aim it right, so the boss fight isn't hard, but it is pretty fun all in all, I'd say. Bolse is another one of those all-range mode levels, making it extremely short. In fact, this is probably the shortest level in the game, usually not even lasting 3 whole minutes. All you have to do first is break the shield generators to make the giant space satellites stop spinning. After that, the boss music starts playing, but all we have are some enemies we have to shoot down that only really stand out because they have a bit more health and do a bit more damage than regular enemies, and by a bit more health I mean they don't die in a single hit, they take like 2. Eventually the Bolse Satellite core emerges, but it's mostly just a matter of shoot the glowy bits and get a lot of extra points, and then it dies. This is the easiest medal in the game to get, and it's the most nothing fight in the game. Once you take it out, that's all there is to it. Yep, nothing else interesting happens on the Bolse Satellite. Nothing at all.
Good luck.
Here we are at the game's grand finale. Venom is a pretty relentless level that, while only a few minutes long, is filled with some of the hardest enemy patterns we've seen. It's honestly a pretty large boost in challenge with how many enemies are attacking you, but this is the final level, so I kinda like having this increased challenge at the end of the game. It feels pretty fair once you get used to just everything coming at you, and just remember, never stop barrel rolling, never stop firing. The level is filled with a bunch of branching paths that give you some different mini challenges to try out, making the level fairly replayable, which is quite nice, and it does really sell the feeling of finality. The final level isn't super long, but it's got plenty of substance to it, and it's a fun time. But eventually we reach the end and arrive at the Great Monkey Temple? I don't know, it's this ancient temple theming that doesn't really match with the rest of the game or go in line with the other games in the series outside of, I guess, maybe the Krazoa Palace, but that's dinosaurs, not monkeys, and Star Fox Adventures wasn't even supposed to be a Star Fox game, so I don't know, dude. Also, to add to the randomness, here's Golomek, also known as your final test of your flying skills, as all he does is activate traps for you to avoid instead of attacking you directly. He's another pretty random inclusion that has me wondering if at some point they plan to do more of this ancient temple and have it as its own full level or something, but it maybe got cut for dev time, or they realized, what's the point of that, just combine them together. I don't know, but it's overall a little bit chaotic, not that hard of a fight, just don't panic.
I've been waiting for you, Star Fox. You know that I control the galaxy. It's foolish to come against me. Die, just like your father.
So who's ready for a pathetically easy final boss fight? Andross is your obligatory head with hands boss that's extremely commonplace in Nintendo, especially around this era, and I have to wonder, what the hell happened to the rest of his body? Anyways, his weak points are his hands. Kind of. See, technically it's his eyes, but you have to destroy his hands in order for him to actually die. So first we need to shoot him in the eyes to stun him, then blast away at the hands to take them out and remove his attacks. But, doing that, you just keep firing, and ultimately he wins. All he really does is punch you, and he has an attack where he can try to inhale you, but that's about it. He's super easy, and it doesn't take too long to bring him down. But of course, when it looks like he's destroyed, he goes down and... oh my god, he was a robot the entire time! All he does is rush at you very quickly and menacingly, and he looks super scary, and he's already dead. That was the final boss fight, and he went down in 58.73 seconds. Honestly, it's a complete and total joke. But at the very least, the galaxy is saved and Andross is defeated. A shorter game than normal, but I thank you for joining me on this event. Oh. Well then. Yeah, we aren't done yet. Star Fox 64 may not have a true New Game Plus like Command and Zero, but it does have different routes for higher skill levels that provide much greater challenge for the experienced players. So, for example, if instead of playing through Corneria like a rookie, you're able to save Falco, then we go and fly through a bunch of random rings in the water, we go on a different path. This is probably the most dramatic change of them, as the level design itself will alter, as well as one other change, but it is really cool, and I gotta imagine discovering this back in 1997 on the Nintendo 64 after beating the game, presumably on the easy route. It must have been a really cool surprise, especially because of what comes right after.
Incoming enemy from the rear. Drop altitude.
Enemy shield analyzed.
The Attack Carrier. We have ourselves a different first boss fight, and it's also an homage to the original Super Nintendo Star Fox game, as it's modeled after the first boss of the game. The Attack Carrier is still a super easy boss, but it has two phases, with you first destroying its missile launchers before its main body becomes vulnerable, but also more mobile and aggressive. It's not hard, but it is a step up in challenge over the battle with Granga, and it lasts more than 10 seconds to take down. Plus, I mean, I don't know, just the music's cooler, the setting's cooler. It feels like we're truly escalating and getting into something much tougher than the base game was gonna give us. While we had that little segment of enemies in the branching path back in Corneria, Sector Y is more or less your introduction to New Game Plus, so to speak. We're gonna see a sizable increase in difficulty over lower routes outside of Venom, as there's far more enemies to deal with and far more projectiles flying our way, so we have to stay more on our game here. Additionally, many of these levels on the harder routes have some additional requirements for the player to remain on these more challenging routes. In this case, for Sector Y, we need to finish with a score of at least 100 points or higher, which means killing a lot of enemies and making liberal use of charge shots and using bombs wisely for those multipliers. It definitely seems tight, but the game will give plenty of opportunities to rack up points, especially near the end, and the boss is more than generous than average when it comes to giving you bonus hits. But this level is pretty fun, seeing this big space battle that's kind of an early game preview of what's going to come and some of the games later in far more challenging levels. I enjoy it. It's a good time. Admittedly though, the boss is kind of unceremonious though. It's just two robots that fly through the air and shoot at you, and they go down fairly quickly and easily, so it's not that hard of a fight and feels more like a mini-boss than a proper boss fight. Kind of underwhelming, not gonna lie.
No party just yet.
Yeah, I'm just kidding with you. We have a proper Phase 2 boss fight. The Shogun is a bit more powerful than the two we just killed, but where he mostly stands out is his increased durability, as he not only has increased health and can't be locked onto, but he also has a pretty large shield to block your shots, though you can break it with enough firepower. I actually really like this fight, and the boss has a bunch of funny voice lines. The music's great, the arena's cool, and the flagship slowly entering the arena and becoming a platform for the mech to ride on to make himself both easier to hit but also more accurate of a shot is just a great way to make the fight feel more dynamic, but also make the fight easier and kind of a you suck fallback for any of those who are having trouble actually lining up shots with the boss. Overall, yeah, I love this boss fight. It's great.
You're making me mad!
We're heading for Aquas. Report in.
Aquas is certainly a level. Yeah, I gotta be honest, I don't like it very much. The Blue Marine is a neat idea and concept, but in execution it falls kind of flat. Very flat, honestly. Everything is slow and kind of just awkward, and you lack any form of charge shot on the Blue Marine. Unfortunately, water levels back in the Nintendo 64 just seem to be kind of cursed in general. Even if I am a staunch defender of Dire Docks, I know a lot of people don't like that level either. The big issue with the Blue Marine, other than the speed, is that there's no reason to not just mash all level, because you don't have a charge shot, and pressing Y to fire torpedoes also fires lasers when you're reloading, so just mash the button until everything goes bye-bye. I guess is a slight bonus, if you can call it that, since your team members aren't flying around, their R-Wings don't get damaged, which means this is just a free repair for them if you go through Aquas. So, there's that, I guess. We also see some anglerfish that I foolishly don't completely exterminate off the face of the planet. Sure, that won't come to bite us in the ass with some bad fanfiction levels of storytelling. I used to wonder why we even bothered to come down here, but the game does mention that Andros put a bioweapon here, and while that initially seems silly, it makes more sense when you think about it from the perspective of this being the home planet of Beltino Toad, also known as Slippy's father, and one of the few scientists that rival Andros in terms of intellect while being on the opposite side of the war, so I'm giving the narrative reason here a pass. Plus, it is Slippy's homeworld, and while it's cool to dislike Slippy, I bear no ill will towards the guy, so yeah, we'll do him a solid here and save his planet. As for the boss fight itself, well, Bakun exists, and well, it's kind of a whatever boss all in all. It's not offensively bad, and it's not really fun either. The idea behind it is to destroy its ligaments? I guess, I don't know what you'd call that on a clam, to force it to stay open, and then fire torpedoes into its eye, while also taking out the barnacles on top of the shell that send out worm enemies. Interesting idea on paper, and visually the fight does look pretty cool, but due to how the Blue Marine works, it just amounts to spamming barrel rolls and mashing the torpedo button until it dies, because you'll probably fire fast enough to kill it before it can even come close to killing you, since torpedo is the answer to everything in this boss fight, and the torpedo button also fires your lasers when it's reloading, and the fact is the boss only takes damage from torpedoes, but that means it also dies in 5 hits once you start doing damage to his health bar. At least when it's done, we get to go to one of my favorite levels in the game, so hey, you know what? Look on the bright side of things, I guess.
Thanks, Slip. Blue Marine came through.
Slippy's not such a screw-up after all.
Thanks a lot, Peppy.
I'll take the sky any day.
Sheesh, Falco. You too?
This is Zonas, one of the places most ravaged by the Lylat War, to the point it's been heavily polluted and turned into a military base for the Andros army. In fact, the level is actually called Invasion Aftermath. Basically, it's what Aquas would have become if we didn't stop Bakun. We do have another objective for this level, and that's to make it through without getting caught by the searchlights, because apparently searchlights are connected to their comm systems and security cameras, while enemy pilots seeing you are not. It's a bit odd, but A, that's just video game logic, and B, it does make for a fun little extra challenge, so okay, cool enough in my book. Given that it's a water planet, it's one of the most flat levels in the game, outside of the remnants of the base itself, and instead of dragging this entire segment out, I think you should just listen to this excellent music. It is my favorite song in the entire game. Best song in the game, and it's followed up by an excellent boss fight.
Disrespectful little whelps. I'll teach ye some respect.
Marine is one of the best bosses in the game, but it's going to be a big challenge. It's a lot more involved than some bosses in this game, because not only are the bombs mandatory to win this fight, but there's also other mechanics going on in the battle. First, though, you have to destroy the exhaust ports, which requires 2 bombs to bring down each one, and they allow him to submerge underwater to repair the Marine, as well as attack from below with only the periscope exposed, so yes, it's a high priority target to take out as soon as you can. When both exhaust ports are destroyed, we need to take out its main guns, but you can't really do that when the crane is there to constantly repair them, so we need to basically destroy a gun to expose the crane in order to damage the crane, so you can stop repairing itself. And once the crane is gone, you can truly take out its main cannons. But we're not done yet, as we also have to bring down the entire ship, which loses its laser immunity, but still puts up an assault of both fire and a giant wrecking ball cannon. As a kid, I hated this boss because it was so involved and difficult, but as an adult, I can appreciate how involved the fight gets. This is the hard route, so it stands to reason that the fights are a bit more involved than the 10-second speed bumps from our first run through, and the boss gives endless supplies of bombs and silver healing rings, so it's not like you're starved for resources in the fight either. Unfortunately, the next level and your reward for taking out all the searchlights is the worst part of the entire game.
The enemy army is gunning for you. Be careful.
Don't worry, sir.
This one won't be long. Sector X is just a little series of enemies to fight, nothing crazy there. And if that was all, the level would be just kind of a nothing level. But we also have to deal with the one Star Fox tradition that I honest to goodness wish would just die already. This level will end one of two ways. You destroy every single Copperhead missile, or they hit the Great Fox and end the level immediately. If it hits you, you don't game over or lose a life, but something worse happens. You're going to be kicked off the hard route and get your ass sent to Bolse Satellite for the game's normal ending, wasting basically all your hours of progress. This is the worst level in the game, and I hated it as a kid, and I hate it as an adult. So anyways, I got hit by the missile.
Rob, is everything okay?
Damage to rear left section of the ship.
Dang, now they've done it!
It could be difficult to attack Venom.
Doggone it!
For those thinking, Christian, why the hell would you do that? Well, we actually do want to go back to Bolse Satellite, but there's something different this time around, and this is kind of why I want to go back here, and I'm going to show off the other levels anyways, so I figured may as well do it here and now.
Playtime is over, Star Fox. I think I'll torture you for a while.
Daddy screamed real good before he died. You'll be sorry you crossed us. Just what I need to see. Star Wolf.
Star Wolf will show up as kind of a new Game Plus shakeup, sort of. Let me explain. So, the reason why we didn't see any of them back when we first played through Bolse Satellites because we shot them all down on Fichina. The only members that will show up here are the ones that didn't get shot down back then, so if, say, only Wolf and Pigma survived, then they'd be the only ones you have to fight here. But since we never went to Fichina, all of them remain, so we have a proper rematch with Star Wolf and the Satellite Core at the same time, which makes for a really cool setting for a battle. It's a cool little extra, and it guarantees that no matter what route you take, you'll always encounter Star Wolf at least once, which means, yes, spoilers, we do still have one more battle with him at the end of the game. Anyways, time to kill Andros again, and yeah, he's still just a robot, so you know what that means. Anyone else remember watching that show in school as a kid? The history teachers just never really gave a shit about anything. And the English teachers were always getting pregnant. But anyways, we're getting sidetracked. It's time for my personal favorite route, so I'm gonna speed past Sector Y and see you on the next planet.
Katina is battling the enemy. Will you help them out?
Affirmative, General.
Katina is our final dogfight map of the game, where it's simply an all-range mode scrap, but it's also my favorite of the bunch because of how chaotic it all is. We see the Cornerian army fighting off the Andros army, and we have the assistance of Bill Gray, an old friend of Fox McCloud, and in this game he sounds like a surfer dude, but he's a good pilot nonetheless, and he has a more distinct design than he did in the original game. You probably want to be careful not to shoot down the friendly Cornerian pilots, so I would recommend sticking to charge shots, as laser spam is risky and bombs will blow everything up because they do not discriminate. And after enough time passes, an ominous giant frisbee starts approaching the base, but hey, there's no boss music, so I'm sure it's fine. Oh. Never mind then. Yeah, the boss is a giant flying saucer. Honestly though, while I'm not the biggest fan of this boss fight, it's nowhere near as bad as the Great Saucer boss fight in Star Fox Command. That thing is downright evil. There's not much to this fight other than shoot some enemies and occasionally attack the hatches. It's the fight where really nothing matters until it prepares for its big desperation move. You're kind of just going around shooting and killing enemies as normal. It's just now there's more enemies coming out because it's spawning the enemies out from, well, below it. When the core appears, it's charging up essentially a Death Star laser to destroy the base, but it's also a giant glowing weak spot, so it's not exactly hard to see where you need to shoot. Just take it out in a straightaway or two, don't panic, and don't let the time limit on top make you get, well, it's creeped out. Don't hesitate, throw out a bomb if you need to clear the way. it goes down pretty easily.
That area's an oven. Don't go burning that R-wing. Be reasonable, Fox.
I'll be careful.
Welcome to the fucking sun. I know I'm tackling these levels in a slightly odd order, but I have zero clue why Solar is part of the medium difficulty route. This is one of the hardest levels in the entire game. The enemies are on fire, the obstacles are on fire, the level's on fire, and you're on fire. Everything's on fire. Regardless of the route you take, Bill will come to assist you. I have been told that if he's shot down in Katina, he won't come, but I don't even know if it's possible for him to be shot down on Katina, so I don't know, take that one with a grain of salt, I guess. But yeah, the everything on fire joke I made earlier isn't really a joke. Even when you're staying as high up as possible, you're still taking damage constantly, putting this level on a soft time limit. But I kinda like it. Visually, it's very intimidating, it's a good challenge, and the music is amazing, and I'm glad they brought it back for Star Fox Command.
This is the enemy's bioweapon?
Okay, so as a boss, Volcane looks awesome and has a good variety of attacks, while feeling like an in-game boss should. But I gotta ask, what the fuck is the point of this thing from a world-building perspective? Like, Bakun, I get, it's poisoning a presumably important planet in the Lilat system, but what is Volcane gonna do on the fucking sun? I don't know, this is one of the most absurd bosses in the game, but it is still one I find very fun, and I don't really let the world building thing get in the way of me enjoying the boss fight. I just think it's just funny. It's like, okay, sure, Andros, great job, real genius move there. And I mean, hey, the boss still has one of the game's best boss themes, so it's a win in my book.
So you're going to attack the enemy base? Great idea, Fox.
It'll be a piece of cake, General.
Macbeth is a surprisingly short level, but one of the most memorable in the game for me. Part of that is because you're in the Landmaster and chasing down the Forever Train, which, spoilers, is the boss of the level, which makes the villain one of the more memorable ones since he has the most dialogue of any boss that isn't Andros or Starwolf. Personally, I think this is a much more enjoyable tank level than Titania because there's less random obstacles thrown in, and instead it's enemies that attack you in different formations and try to stop your advance. And I don't know, something about it just feels a lot more fun. Plus, visually it looks a lot cooler. Additionally, this level just feels more important since this is the main base of Andros' army where they're fueling and presumably launching their assault from. But the boss here is a bit unique. You can fight him straight up if you wish, and if so, it's quite possibly the hardest boss in the game because of how many things you have to keep track of. But if you instead opt to go after the train switches, you can change the tracks to get an alternate kill on the boss where you crash the Forever Train into the Macbeth base, and you get a plus 50 on your hit, which makes it very, very easy to get the medal for this level, though I'm not going after medals in this game, so, you know. It's still cool though.
Good going, Fox!
No! Hit the brakes! I can't stop it!
All aircraft report.
I can see the look on their stupid faces.
I'm sure we heard them this time.
It's almost over. We're in your debt. Come back in one piece, Fox.
Will do, General.
Area 6 is the best level in the entire game, hands down. It's pure action and a mad rush to the end, and it's just plain fun. In fact, I dedicated an entire episode of Greatest Levels in Gaming to this very place, so give it a watch if you would like. But otherwise, the level's enjoyable, it's frantic, it's fast, and with you being able to take out the frigates and personnel carriers, it's just really feels satisfying, like you're destroying their army completely. Overall, it's a blast to play through.
So close to Venom!
And as a bonus, it caps off with the best boss fight in the game, but also the hardest boss fight in the game, and unlike Macbeth, there's no workaround here. This thing is the real guardian of the true ending, and it will not go down easily. To beat this boss, you not only have to deal with his onslaught of missiles, enemy fighters, and slamming into you with his tentacles, but it's also relatively well armored, as you have to destroy the tentacles to even expose its shield in the first place, and then you have to destroy the energy balls to weaken its shield. So you're basically going back and forth between destroying the tentacles and the energy balls till you can finally start hurting the thing, which means that even when it's supposed to be vulnerable, it's still pretty well protected. Honestly, it's a well-designed machine for defense, and it has me wondering if this thing is just a machine or another one of Andross's bioweapons. It definitely looks more fleshy in the Nintendo 64 version than here, but the game's never really going to explain it. This is that one super mysterious boss you fight that's just big, scary in-game fight. Oh, right, the boss also has a Death Star laser.
Watch out, Fox!
It's a good challenge to see if the player is ready for the true ending, and it's an absolute blast. Quite possibly my favorite boss in the entire game, and it's definitely in the top 3. Amazing level, amazing boss fight, and a great way to get you ready for the game's true ending.
Good luck.
Say your prayers, Andross.
Alright, now all we have left to do is play through the final level of the game and get everything done.
Don't get too cocky, Star Fox. Let's see how you handle our new ships.
Too bad Dad's not here to see you fail. We'll make sure you...
Andrew didn't even get to finish his speech. Dude's always been a joke, even if his death gets retconned more than Shakti in Star Wars. Anyways, the Wolfen 2 is a much more aggressive ship than the standard Wolfen with twin lasers or possibly hyper lasers. Otherwise, these guys also have a defensive boost, not so much in the HP as seen by Andrew dying that quickly, but instead with them being immune to charge shots and being able to barrel roll. Keep a cool head, hopefully have some hyper blasters, and just take them down. Shouldn't be too hard to do.
No way! I don't believe it!
I'll go it alone from here. Fox!
I've been waiting for you, Star Fox. You know that I control the galaxy. It's foolish to come against me. Now you will feel true pain.
Neat little detail I only just noticed when editing is that you actually go from all range mode to on rails mode during the boss introduction cutscene when he's laughing at you. Anyways, Andross is back, and unlike last time, he has more durability and attacks are faster. So he's not a complete joke, and you actually have to dodge an attack or two, which does make things tougher if only a little bit. He also has an attack where he can inhale you, which necessitates either using the brakes or a bomb to avoid getting eaten, which is basically a death sentence as it cripples you if it does land, but it's not too hard to deal with, and still, the fight isn't that bad.
Only I have the brains to rule Lilat.
So, Andross, you show your true form.
True Andross is a very trippy boss fight, with the endless space, the giant brain, everything kind of just not feeling right. It's our final battle, and we've also got 2 eyeballs that act like enemy fighter jets that will fire at you, as well as having an electrical tether. His health thankfully isn't too high, but he's not a complete joke like the robot form was, and the fight will last a good deal longer. Once his eyes go down, though, we need to destroy the brain itself, but be careful when flying near him because his tendrils can grab you and quickly break your wings, which will result in you losing your laser upgrades, making stuff much harder and also making you constantly lose altitude for the rest of the level. Getting shots in here can be a pain in the ass, but it is still a far more satisfying final battle than the fight with the Faker.
If I go down, I'm taking you with me.
Don't ever give up, my son. Father? Follow me, Fox.
You have to escape. Don't stop, don't hesitate. Keep going. As James and Peppy tell you throughout the
This
game,
way,
never
Fox.
give up, trust your instincts.
Never give up. Trust your instincts. You've become so strong, Fox.
Fox, you're okay!
That's our leader.
What's wrong, Fox?
Nothing. Nothing's wrong.
Star Fox, we are in your debt. I would be honored to have you as part of the Cornerian army.
Oh no, sir. We prefer doing things our own way.
Great Fox is ready to go.
It's time for us to go now.
I love the Star Fox games. They're fun games that have a good challenge, but are also super replayable. I didn't have Star Fox 64 growing up. I was an Xbox kid and a Nintendo DS kid. I was able to play Star Fox Assault thanks to the Wii's backwards compatibility and command since I had a DS given to me by my grandmother, but Star Fox 64, despite hearing about how it was the best game, it was also the one I just never had a chance to get because, well, I didn't ever get my Wii hooked up to the internet. So when I saw it was getting remade for the 3DS, well, I asked my parents for a 3DS as a birthday gift and busted my ass in school. Pretty sure I finished that year with honor roll as well. And a couple days later, my dad took me to the store where I finally got my copy of Star Fox 64 3D. And yeah, I love this game. I've beaten it somewhere around 20 times. It's a fun game that can easily be picked up and replayed whenever you want, and you can beat it in about an hour if you want to. And that's part of what makes it special. It's a classic game we all know and love, just brought to a new generation with a nice graphical upscale. I gotta say, Nintendo made the right choice remaking The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time and Star Fox 64 for this system. It's a faithful remake, but it's a faithful remake done perfectly, keeping the great game intact and basically untouched outside of visuals, while throwing in some enhanced music, maybe a few glitched fixes, and a beautiful piano rendition of the main theme for the new credits. I hope you enjoyed this video. I fully plan to cover Star Fox 64's 3DS remake some point down the road, But because they announced that they're remaking the game yet again, and yes, it is ridiculous how half of the series is now just Star Fox 64, which is a retelling of the original Star Fox, it gave me that little motivational kick in the ass to get my new recording set up at Test Drive and, well, play this game again for the first time in years. I thank you all for watching. I know these full game coverage videos don't do as well as some of my others, but they're honestly the most fun for me to make. So, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time for, well, let's just say Relink is real. See you guys then. So did I ever tell y'all the story about why I hate furries?